Have you always wanted to start your own business? Do you have an innovative idea or an invention, but just don't know how to turn it into a company? Are you already in business and need some help growing? The BRF's Entrepreneurial Accelerator Program can help. At EAP, we work alongside you, helping you with things like financial modeling, funding strategy, pitch preparation, and marketing strategy. So what are you waiting for? Go to eapla.com today and set up a time to talk with our team. Let EAP help you launch or grow your business in North Louisiana today.
All right, well, welcome back to On the Cusp. My co-host Matt Snyder, and today we've got Tommy Scott, the owner of the Mudbugs here in Shreveport. Our hometown championship team.
That's right.
Okay, and a lot of people don't know that. So
yeah, we've got a few.
What got you into hockey?
You know, I was just a fan, just like, you know, many people are other sports. And went to my first Mudbugs game at the end of the first season back in 97, 98. It was a March day. I'll never forget it. It was nice and warm outside. It was nice and cool inside, and they were playing some good music, and people were drinking beer and having a great time. And there were 3 fights in the first 9 minutes of the game, and I thought, well, this is the coolest thing ever.
those years were electric.
So I was like, we're going back next week. So then we bought season tickets, and then started learning a lot more about the game. You know, first you want to see a fight. Well, the game's changed quite a bit since then, but they still have a few. But I don't really care if there's a fight or not. I just want to see good hits and good passing and good defensive play, and you know. So, but anyway, I just evolved as a fan. Yeah, I just evolved as a fan and was a sponsor, and then you know, I enjoyed it with my kids. It was just, that's how I got into it. So.
Awesome. I can tell my story. I had girls that were in the Benton marching band. They were on the flag line. I'd never been to the Mudbugs. They said, Dad, the band's going to the Mudbugs game. We're going to perform. So naturally, we loaded up, went there, sat through the whole game. We loved it. Okay.
Did you freeze to death?
It was cold.
It was cold.
We were not prepared for that, but it was nice. Okay, and we enjoyed it, and it was a great event.
They're always so much fun, and it's evolved so much. I mean, those early Mudbugs teams, I just remember, and I was kind of like right after college and, you know, that age, so you're out at bars and stuff. Those teams were like, you're talking about fighting, and they'd show up and like wreck a whole bar. I remember seeing them in Mardi Gras one year, just wild as hell. Like, the teams evolved a lot.
Well, the game's changed a lot. The team structures changed quite a bit, and you know, it used to be a lot of fights in hockey back then, and there's not so much now. There's all this emphasis on safety, and really, though, you want to win championships, so you can't afford to just have some, you know, guy who only can fight on your team. You got to have guys that have the whole package, and you can't win championships if they're in the penalty box.
Now you're really and truly, you're in the amateur sports industry.
Yeah, I consider myself in the entertainment industry more than anything, because it is entertainment. It's you know, that's it. But you're right, it is amateur sports. You know, some people call semi-pro, which I never understood that term. You either get paid or you don't. There's no semi about it. So the Mudbugs were a professional team considered at the AA level, and now we are what's called junior hockey. I know it sounds like little kids when I say that, but it's they're 18 to 20-year-old players, and they're going for college scholarships or to get drafted in the NHL. So this is truly, unlike football where you go to high school, then you go to college and you get drafted and you play pro, this is kind of an in-between a high school and a college thing. It's more of a, college hockey players don't start until they're like 21 as compared to 18-year-olds.
Yeah.
So we're in the business of sending kids to college. Mostly.
I've had the opportunity to work with the team, the recent teams, through a sponsor of y'all's and a client of mine. And I'll tell you, like, I've really enjoyed the players.
Yeah, they're good kids.
They're good kids, and instead of
young
being
men
on the
is good young
and
men.
instead of being on the backside maybe of their career,
Oh, they're going up.
they are trying to get somewhere, which is really interesting. And
But
I've
that's a
just seen
unique
them as a
aspect of what you've brought to
Well,
Shreveport.
they're bringing it every night, because they want to make that next level. They don't have time to take a day off because they're tired or something's bothering them or whatever. They are bringing it every night because they know that there's scouts watching. If they're not in the building, they're watching on internet TV, and they want to get the next level. And we've been doing this now since 2016-17 at this level, and we have 2 NHL draft picks already, which is pretty rare at our
awesome.
level.
That is awesome.
The biggest, it's no secret, a lot of the changes and the struggles and the buildings and all that has been well documented over the years about the Mudbugs. So, that's there. But what's been impressive to me, and I deal with it on my own events, is you guys, and I love Muskie, y'all just pivot and make it work. It feels like whatever's thrown at you, you're like, all right, well, we're not going away. So...
Yeah, it's definitely a task. I love the Hirsch Coliseum. It's a place where I grew up, went to my first concert there, went to a lot of events there, tractor pulls and 3-wheeler races. That's how old I am. I just had I like the building. Yeah, it's old. It's very inefficient. It's doesn't have the amenities that you wish you had. It's cold but it has a lot of character. And
it does.
To me, it's just the difference is I tell people, you ever go to a bar where it's just a dive, but you had so much fun, as compared to at the country club bar where it's expensive and it's a little stuffy. We're the dive bar.
Yeah. You're a good, and everybody has that.
Or the
feel.
restaurant with the peanuts on the floor, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, good dive bar is fun. And a hockey dive bar is awesome.
I don't know anybody that ever went to a Mudbugs game that didn't have fun. That's for sure. But you hear a lot in Shreveport about, Shreveport can never support a semi-pro or amateur sports team.
Pro, yeah.
And we used to have that, but you're making it work every day. Matt talked a little bit about some of the challenges that you have. It's not easy to make ice, okay?
Yeah, or to keep it good.
Or keep it frozen, okay? It is not an easy task, and people don't understand how difficult that is. But can we, in Shreveport, have a semi-pro or an amateur team? And
you can have a full professional team. People can do it. You just have to know who you are and where you are. You have to be a little bit humble. You've got to know your market. And a lot of times people have a champagne taste on a beer budget, and you're not going to get. Let's take the Independence Bowl for instance. You're not going to get 2 top 10 teams playing the Independence Bowl. Just forget it. So that's just not how it works. So you can have quality though. The Independence Bowl has quality teams. You can have quality sports here in Shreveport.
we just need some better weather for that game.
Yeah, okay. I know.
This year,
they work so hard. You talk about us working hard. They work so hard.
They do.
And gosh, they get one shot at it.
I know. They're showing Brisbane. I swear, I've worked with them a lot too, and God, they get some bad weather luck.
It's bad luck, but are you going to get a Texas League AA baseball team here? I don't know. I haven't followed that in a while. I don't know if it's even Texas League anymore. That's what it was back in the captain's days. You're not going to. I don't think you're going to get that anymore because the competition. It's not so much. Shreveport has changed, but it's not so much that. It's that sports have changed. They're just more expensive now, and there's the competition for these beautiful stadiums, and the players get more money now than they used to. It's just a different deal now, and so it's the same game, but really not as far as the business goes.
I think you and I were talking. People around here, they want to see a quality sporting event. And in order to attract that, you're going to have some money to do that. You're not going to be able to launch a semi-pro baseball team in Shreveport and play at a quality level because people are used to seeing a certain level
That's
of
true.
that sport.
You know, when you go to a hockey game in Canada, you've got 5-year-olds in the stands who are basically coaches saying, why are they running that, you know, why is their power play like that, or, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of like it is here with football or baseball. You know, you have 5-year-old kids in the stands in football games, so why are they running a cover 2 defense, you know? It's just, people here are very knowledgeable. I'm saying they're not knowledgeable of hockey, but they are very knowledgeable of football, baseball, you know, the sports that we grew up with around here. And so if you try to give them a bad product, they're just kind of like,
Hockey fans are different. Hockey, I went to a Predators game a few weeks back, and that's the first professional hockey game I've been to. Hockey fans are something that I've never seen. It's a different breed, and I love it. I had to say, I literally was sitting in the stands, and the end of the second period came, and a guy threw like a 5-pound whole catfish onto the ice. Like, I was stunned. I mean, like, the energy is just insane. So I love that, and I do think that hockey mentality fits our community.
it's kind of a blue collar thing.
It is,
you know,
and the Hirsch kind of fits into
it's,
that, and like
you know,
chanting "you suck" at the other team. I mean, like,
it gets a little rowdy.
I love it. I mean,
you know, we have some very knowledgeable hockey people here, and as hockey's become more mainstream on regular TV, and you know, we've but I think most people come because they have a good time, and that's, you know, I was one of those people. I didn't know anything about hockey. I went to my first game, and I kept talking about icing, and I was like, well, yeah, there's ice everywhere. What are you talking about, icing? They had these little pamphlets. It was Hockey 101, and it had a little, it was some cheat sheet for me. And, you know, because as a man, I don't want to admit that I don't know anything. So, you know, my wife's like, what is icing? I'm like, oh, well, it's, you know, explaining the rules. So, but now I really just love the sport. I think it's great. I can't, you know, like November is October, my favorite times of the year because hockey starts. College football's in full swing. I mean, it's just, the weather's good. It's
just its own thing. That game, I went to a Grizzlies game in Memphis the night before, basketball, and it's like got its environment. Not that me and my 12-year-old boy, no similarity. I mean, the crowd, the guys, what they're talking about, and that's fun.
Especially in Nashville, they've got they're really good fans. I feel like we're a lot like Nashville.
I do. Like being there. I felt like I understood the Mudbugs more after going to a professional game than I did before, because it fit the whole thing. Like it made more sense to me for whatever reason. So I love it. But what I think is interesting when we talk about the Independence Bowl and we talk about y'all, and Dave talks about, can we support a league? What I see with y'all and the Independence Bowl is vested people. Vested leadership. You and Scott have been diehard, we're going to make it work. Missy is unrelenting on fighting for the Independence Bowl. And that's the thing that I believe, Dave, if you're going to have a sports team here, you got to have that kind of leadership. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I appreciate that. But, you know, it's a lot of hard work, and it's knowing your people, your crowd, and what they like and what they don't like. And we try a lot of new things, and some of them don't work. And then some things I've tried to change, and people about, you know, ran me out of town. So it's, you know, like I said, it's entertainment. And, you know, whether it's a football game or a hockey game, people want to enjoy, they're spending money to go to this thing, and they don't want to be ripped off with, you know, extra parking expenses and all these other things. They just want to go, and they want to buy their drinks and their popcorn that they know is probably a little higher than, you know, what they would pay anywhere else.
Right.
But, and we try to keep it, you know, at a minimum, but they just want to have a good time. And some of the best games that we've ever had with our crowds are games that we've lost. Because the whole idea is that you want people to come to the game and leave saying, I have no idea what just happened or who even won, but man, I had a great time and I want to go back. And that is the goal.
Yeah, and that's why having a local team does matter. Being able to have the Boy Scout night and to have the teddy bear donation and to do all those things that y'all do, that transcend hockey.
And the biggest part of that, I think, is a very successful part is the player access. We have the guys out in the community a lot. Last week we were at schools, or 2 weeks ago we were at schools reading Dr. Seuss to people. And, you know, I mean, once you feel like you know a player, you want to go see them play.
Yeah.
So all these things that we do where they're out in the community reading books or visiting a hospital, or they're at a corporate partner's business just visiting, you know, like Sonic or someone like that. You know, people get to know the players and they like them and they want to go see them, and you know.
You're making a vested, you know, interest.
They don't come to see
the
Tommy.
player.
They
Yeah,
don't care about
right.
Tommy. They want
Absolutely.
to see the player.
That's right. And then you start tracking them through their career, you know, and see where they end up and where they go, what university they go to, and do they get drafted.
Right. And another
A
aspect.
loyal fan base means a lot.
It does. And another thing I think helps in that area is these guys live with host families while they're here. They're called billet families, and they pay rent, but it's very minimum. And if you're looking to make money off of hosting a player, it's not going to happen. They're going to eat more food in your refrigerator than you can afford. So, but you know, there's those relationships that get built too with the kids and the families and the players, and it's just something that both people will remember for the rest of their lives. Those relationships that they made. And, you know, we have players that come back after many years, and everybody's like, "Hey, good to see you," you know. And well, perfect example of Dan Wildfong, and at least he was a pro player here, but he's the head coach of our biggest rival in Texas. And whenever he comes here, people just, you know, he's a hero. So
Yeah. Those old Mudbugs
Builds a little
teams
bit
were
of community pride.
Yeah.
Is
Well,
what
that's
it
the
does.
other thing.
We contributed to that individual's growth.
And then, of course, you have to be a winner.
That's
I think
right.
if you're a loser, then people still might like you, but they're not really willing to
right.
pay the money to come see you.
Yeah. Well, man, we're happy you're here. Like, I appreciate the fighting and the keeping and the struggling to make it happen year after year, no matter what cards were dealt to y'all. And so, anything we can ever do to help, let us know.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks for coming. It's great
Absolutely.
to have our hometown champion here.
Well, I
with
appreciate
us.
it. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Tommy.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, man.